Here's a little note for Andrew Stanton. Next time you make a live action movie, take notes from Brad Bird. So hey guys, it's SPOOFOMANIA here, and I know you haven't seen me for a while, but now I'm going to be back on track and trying to make a new review or preview or something every week. So this weekend I saw John Carter, and I'm going to give my review of it. It's basically about this guy who lives in the 1800s, and he's a Confederate soldier. And then one day he is mysteriously transferred to Mars. So on Mars he has all these powers that he doesn't have on Earth. Because of the gravity, he has super strength, and he can jump really high and things like that. But he gets caught up in this war between these two groups of aliens, and he kind of fights for this one group. And that's basically the premise of the movie. But now I'm just going to kind of talk about the acting, first of all. I didn't mind the supporting cast. The supporting cast was like Thomas Hayden Church, Bryan Cranston, Mark Strong, in my opinion, was the best thing about Green Lantern, because I absolutely hate that movie. Syrian Hines from The Woman in Black. So it had a pretty good supporting cast. They weren't given much in this movie, but they still did. They did the best they could with the material that they had. Now, the two leads in this movie are Lynn Collins and Taylor Kish. Now, didn't really hate either one of them, but I didn't feel like they gave their best performances either. Together, I didn't like their chemistry or their romance, but separate, Taylor Kish, I guess he's an okay actor. I hadn't really seen him in anything else before, and he was good in some scenes, but then in a lot of scenes in this movie, he's breathing really heavily, which is a really weird thing that kind of took away from his performance. It was just a little thing that I noticed that I picked up on, a really tedious thing, but he was still fine in the movie, nothing amazing. But like I said, the romance between the two leads in this movie just felt kind of stale and out of place, and I didn't really go for it. I didn't like it. I feel like they had to have a romance in this movie, so this is what they came up with. And although the acting was fine, I didn't really like the characters too much, and I think that's where the blame kind of goes to the director. It's the director's job to get the best performance and make the best characters that they can make for these actors to perform. And I didn't really feel like Andrew Stanton did such a good job of that. And I'm not really surprised though, because although Brad Bird did a really good job with his live action movie Mission Impossible 4, it must be a tough thing doing animation for most of your career and then just like going to live action, and then you have to work with real people instead of like CGI and all this stuff. So I can't really blame him too much because it's his first time, but still, the blame kind of goes to him. And I'm also gonna say the movie is kind of ruined by one flaw in the plot, and the flaw is if he's on Mars, how is he gonna breathe? I mean, the oxygen there, I bet, is so thin that you would die within like seconds. That's just a little flaw in the movie. It doesn't really matter, and they never really explain it either. But still, it's just one little thing that I noticed. But then again, it wouldn't have been a very entertaining movie if you just died in the first 30 seconds of it. And going into this movie, I thought even if I don't love it, it's going to be kind of a fast-paced, fun movie. But I didn't even get either one of those. I mean, the pacing was really off, and I was kind of surprised about how slow paced some scenes were. But one thing I did like about this movie, and probably the main thing I liked about it, was the effects. I mean, it had a $250 million budget, and they had some really cool scenes and effects, and some cool war scenes when they're fighting the group of aliens. And there was this really cool like dog-like creature in the movie too. And yeah, so they came out with some cool creatures and stuff like that. I still feel like this movie was way over budget in the first place, though. Now, the big story surrounding this movie is that it's probably going to become this huge flop, and I think it could be kind of related to Prince of Persia. Even though Prince of Persia is a movie that I feel like a lot of people hate on, but I didn't hate it that much. I actually liked it more than John Carter. This movie is probably going to do a bad job at the box office. The first weekend it had made $30 million, which is not good at all for especially a $250 million movie. And it did better worldwide, but still, it's going to be a flop at the box office. And yes, it will be a flop, but it's something that we all saw coming, though. So in the end, it's a movie that could have been directed better. The acting could have been a little better, but like I said, that blame could go to the director. The characters could have been a little better too, but nothing was downright awful in this movie. The effects were really cool, but it still wasn't a movie that just took my breath away. It wasn't that great. So I'm just going to give it a really mediocre score of a 5.5. So that's my review, John Carter. Tell me in the comments below if you saw John Carter, if you liked it. Give me your thoughts on the movie. So I'll see you next time. Bye.